And we go to the main event, Kris Statlander, Tekla for the strap match in the strap match for the women's championship. And Bryan Danielson tells us that this is the same strap that they used in his match several years ago with the unnamed Ricky Starks/Saints, and said it's very hard to clean the strap, so my blood is still on it. It's like, that's absolutely disgusting. And I think we could have a backup strap purchased. You think we could not invest in a new strap per match if it means the dude's DNA is all over this?
I mean, how often are you using the strap? Okay, like what? Like once a year?
Well,
come on, you got to get your money's worth off of this strap. Leather probably doesn't get to come cheap these days.
Tony will spend money on music in perpetuity, but you know what? We gotta cut costs some places.
Stretch the strap budget.
It's one strap for you guys. You get the one with Danielson's blood all over it. Knock yourselves out.
They probably think it's really cool.
Oh, I mean, these two just tried to destroy one another with this strap. I mean, my God, are these? Yeah. This was your Instagram match, because we will get the Instagram unfiltered photos, I'm sure, at some point. Mm-hmm. Kris at the beginning is just dragging Tekla across the canvas, and then Statlander gets yanked into the steps, and this begins the blood flow, and she is just, by the midway point of this match, is covered in blood. Tekla is choking her with the strap, goes to the eyes to break up a choke, and then Tekla's in the Tree of Woe, does the sit-up, and starts whipping Statlander, hits her with the spider suplex, and then Statlander gets up, whipping her while the face is all covered in blood. She wraps up Tekla in a strap, with the strap, and goes for the tombstone when all of a sudden Sky Blue runs down to distract the referee. Julia Hart gets involved, and they had already explained that the Babes of Wrath are in Australia for PR and therefore are not there to help Statlander, and turns around after fighting off Julia Hart and gets speared, followed by a stomp, and Tekla wins the title in 14 minutes and 2 seconds. 2 title changes on this show, and the Sisters of Sin continue to attack when Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor run down with a hammer and pipe.
Yeah, where were they during the match?
Well, the Brawling Birds, maybe they were making sure they've got all their flight info for House Rules on Sunday. So we may have gotten an angle here for a house show on Sunday.
Yeah, probably.
I could see the Sisters of Sin being the team on Sunday's show. But yes, we got the title change, and so ends the title reign of Kris Statlander, which I did not think reached the levels hoped upon. And I don't know if you saw that clip of Statlander doing media this week. She was on the TMZ show, and got very emotional, talking about how she's struggling to tell her story and connect with the audience, which has been one of the criticisms of this run. She explains, I don't have this redemption story, and yes, I tore my ACL twice, but I'm back. I'm not complaining about that. And she just got very emotional, describing how tough this has been to try and form this. She was comparing herself, Timeless Tony Storm she's a defined character that Mercedes Moné, she's got and she's trying in her own words to try and find that same thing. And I was like, this is kind of
she's got kind of the now.
Most relatable we have heard from her, I would say, since that press conference when she first won the title in Toronto, that I thought she came off well in as well. And I think it's been a tough run, because I think she's a great performer, and I think it's just a lot more of just filling the role as this champion and having that kind of defining type of character that this title didn't really give more of a clear picture to.
Right. Certainly, she was a shocking decision to crown as champion, and one that I wonder if she felt she was ready for. And I think in seeing the result of it, I feel confident in saying I don't think she was. Not that she's not talented, but she just hasn't found her voice and hasn't really discovered who she is yet. So I think that it often resulted in, I think that this championship feeling secondary to, other things on the show, namely Tony Storm programs and whatnot. But all that said, by the time we've gotten here, I think this spotlight has accelerated her growth and her confidence in developing, probably at a faster rate than this, than she would have without this championship. I think in ring, she offered one of the best performances of the entire run tonight. She ended it certainly really strong. And I actually love this like brawling hardcore style for her. Like it seems to suit her stature and her like hard hitting style really well. So I would love to see her pursue something like that. Now that she doesn't have the, pressure of the spotlight on her. Like I see her as potentially the type of like champion that, like you could say, like several people in the past have been, like Chris Jericho, whose first run wasn't really all that special. But afterwards, subsequently, like really, really honed in on like who they were. You could say that about a lot of wrestlers, and for many people's first runs, they were rather forgettable or like certainly not as great as like what they could do. That could be Kris Statlander. And, her feeling like she doesn't have a character. Well, she kind of has one now. The person whose first run maybe didn't live up to people's expectations. Now she has a redemption story. Wherever she, whenever she can get that second reign, or that she should be after at this point, whether or not she can finally prove the many doubters who were critical of that first reign wrong.
And where were my goddamn friends when I needed them? You have that story too.
There's that too, yes. Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That was the end of the show. And the
Tekla, I think like is a great choice for this role. I mean, like immediately upon entering this company, you could tell there was a level of charisma about her that I think exceeded a lot of people on this roster. And now that she's proven that she can promo as well as part of like this group, like she really has all the tools. So I'm the matches are great. Like she's probably one of the hardest hitters in a division now that has become very hard hitting. So I look forward to seeing what she accomplishes here.
There's a lot of baby faces that you can run with. I could see Tekla getting a decent length run with this one, from like bigger matches with Toni Storm, with Willow Nightingale. You could do a rematch with Statlander. I think you could even bring Mercedes Moné back and she could work with Tekla as a baby face as well. Like I think there's a lot you could do with Tekla as the like nucleus of this championship picture for at least a couple of months. I think you could run with her as champion, because I think
maybe Britt Baker.
Britt Baker's another one. Sure. It's maybe they called up Private Party last week and next on the list is Britt Baker.
Could be
Very possible. Do you think that Tekla walks into All In London with the title and have Willow take it off of her? I'm trying to think of a build as good as Tony and Mercedes last year. Tekla holding it all the way to August. I mean, I'm certainly in favor of her having like a decent run with this title. August is pushing it pretty far. I don't know if that would be the length, but I mean, this always gets brought up as like when somebody, especially a first time champion, and you start wondering like how long, like you don't know how this run's going to go. So it's hard to like project an end date when you've just put the belt on her. Like she might, like it just might not work, but she might catch fire and you just run with it. Like you want to have your kind of long-term ideas, but you always have to be flexible to the response that it gets. And I look at this women's division and there's a lot of babyface contenders for her. And I think that you would want like everything that you and I have spoken about her, like there's a lot to be had with this character that I think that they can explore and they want to. Like she's come in, she got over really well, and they've got the title on her. So August sounds long, but you can't rule it out.
Sounds really long. Sound like that's half a year,
but her and Tony would be a really big match.
It would. I'll just say, like, if it was Mercedes winning the title, then I could say, yeah, I could see her holding it for the next 6 months, just because, like, she's protected. She's, like, the star that you would expect to be in a title match at All In anyway. I would probably say the same for Toni Storm. Anyone outside of that, I would have bigger doubts about, because, like, you in those 6 months, somebody else could catch fire and take that spot, and I don't know if Tekla has given people enough confidence to say like she'll definitely be in the title match at All In yet. So I can't say I'm confident yet at this point. Not to say it can't happen.
What about All In 2027?
We'll see. We have no idea.
February on the Post Wrestling Cafe, we continue our review of Season 2 of WWE Unreal, including a big look at Seth Rollins' fake injury, which culminated in his appearance at SummerSlam. We're going to be looking back at Shinya Hashimoto with a special career retrospective on Rewind Away, plus a review of Extreme Rules 2011 as John Cena announces to the WWE audience that Osama bin Laden has been compromised to a permanent end. We'll also take a look at New Beginning in Osaka, TNA No Surrender, and new members can take advantage of a 7-day free trial. Go to postwrestlingcafe.com and jump on board in February.